It looks like the Walt Disney Company may have just suffered a bigger loss than Indiana Jones 5.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Society has almost arrived at the all-digital future. More and more physical products and activities have been digitized. Less people read physical books, less people buy physical movies, and less people keep physical records for personal information. Companies do this too. Most major companies have digital records over physical ones. That aids in speed and convenience, but it also aids in theft, and according to some news, Disney may have just suffered one of the biggest data thefts in history. But before we get into that, today's video is brought to you by me, Jeff Hicks, and my graphic novel Stealing Solo. Another way to make fun of Disney, if you feel so inclined. Stealing Solo asks the greatest what-if question of all time. What if a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement? That, and a whole lot more, is answered in Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. Stealing Solo has been called Laugh Out Loud Funny and the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs, and it's available now for a limited time only. Go to StealingSolo.com, which is powered by Shopify, so you get the reward-winning safety and security, and get yourselves a copy today. Once we sell through this limited backstock, I'm going back to the drawing board to bring you the sequel, which parodies Luke Skywalker's fall from grace, and finally the closing chapter, which I can't wait to get to, Frankenfisher, the Bride of Solo. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. So folks, the only way to get that is go to StealingSolo.com right now, get yourselves a copy, and enjoy the greatest Star Wars parody since Spaceballs. A self-proclaimed hacktivist group named Nullbulge, aiming to protect artist rights and ensure fair compensation for their work, claims to have breached and leaked 1.1 terabytes of the company's internal Slack infrastructure. These claims were posted to the notorious cybercrime and hacker platform Breach forums on July 12, 2024. The breach, which is yet to be verified, allegedly contains a complete copy of the company's Slack communications used by their development teams, including messages, files, and other data exchanged within the Slack workspace. The hackers further claim that the dump includes almost 10,000 channels, every message and file possible, unreleased projects, raw images, code, logins, links to internal API web pages, and more. Nullbulge also used X, formerly Twitter, to announce the alleged hack, stating, "Disney has had their entire dev Slack dumped. 1.1 terabytes of files and chat messages. Anything we could get our hands on, we downloaded and packaged up. Want to see what goes on behind the doors? Go grab it." The origins of the Nullbulge group are unknown. However, their official website claims the group aims to protect artist rights and ensure fair compensation for their work. Rumors suggest that Nullbulge might be linked to the Lockbit ransomware gang, as they appear to be using Lockbit's leaked builder. As for Disney, in recent years, the company has faced criticism and legal issues regarding the payment of fair shares to artists and writers. Prominent figures like Neil Gaiman have highlighted that Disney has stopped paying royalties to some writers and artists for work including novelizations and graphic novels of Disney-owned properties. The issue affected various creators who worked on popular franchises such as Star Wars and Aliens. The problem came into spotlight when author Alan Dean Foster publicly stated he had not received royalties for his Star Wars and Alien novels after Disney acquired the respective franchises. Despite some high-profile settlements, many writers and artists continue to struggle to get their due payments. Organizations like the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America have been actively campaigning for these creators, forming task force to pressure Disney into fulfilling its financial obligations. Hackread.com has reached out to Disney for comment. Meanwhile, XV Underground, an online malware repository, tweeted that if proven legitimate, the hack could be the work of InfoStealer malware. Nevertheless, the alleged data breach is just another in a series affecting companies based in the United States. On July 12, 2024, AT&T announced that hackers had stolen call records and text messages of nearly all customers, impacting over 110 million Americans. Meanwhile, the Ticketmaster data breach continues to cause headaches for Live Nation as hackers leaked 10 million ticketing barcodes related to top celebrity concerts. The hackers are demanding an $8 million ransom to stop future leaks. Companies are always trying to find a way to save money. Many times that means cutting back on spending, but in the case of Disney, they're not hurting like they want you to think. If we look at their gross profits over the past few years, we see a growing trend. If we take it back to 2021, Disney's annual gross profit for 2021 was over $22 billion, which was a 3.6% increase from 2020, their worst year. Then in 2022, the profit was $28.3 billion, a 27% increase from the previous year of 2021. Following year of 2023, the profit was $29 billion, which was a 4.8% increase. Then for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2024, the profit was $31.2 billion, an 8.7% increase over the previous year. Then for the quarter ending March 31st, 2024, there was a $7.9 billion profit, a gain of nearly 9.9%. And we could take it back even further. Looking at 2011, you see their profits are $7.8 billion. But if we look at 2023, they're up to $29 billion. Now, 2012 is when Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney, and almost every subsequent year, save for 2020, saw a huge increase year over year. Looking at the data, you can see that Disney isn't really hurting for money as a company. Yeah, their big films are failing, but overall the company is still profitable. Holding back royalties is just greedy, and there's no financial reason they need to do this. I looked for more information about holding back royalty payments, and it seems like Disney's lawyers found loopholes to buy the properties but not honor the existing legal agreements. They're taking advantage of vague legal terms to get out of paying. One post I saw theorized that Alan Dean Foster had a loose contract with the original Lucasfilm, which George Lucas always honored. Disney came in and ended that. Maybe that's another reason why the EU was decanonized. If they can show less consumer interest in these books, then they won't have to worry about paying these authors. It's vague, but it's enough to get this group to take down Disney, if not for more reasons. Much more interesting than the why is the what. What did they actually get? It's listed on the site, but what are the projects? It's safe to assume that most fans are going to want to know the in-development films from Star Wars and Marvel. Others will want to know about canceled projects and the media surrounding them. What about the internal messages? For years we've seen the crazy content created by Disney, but what about the internal messages around it? What are the unfiltered messages? Will we get to see the intentions of the company beyond what they run through the PR department? That will be the most telling. They won't be able to talk their way out of it. Just because it wasn't meant to be read publicly doesn't mean it's not how you feel. That'll be the most interesting part to us at WCBS. This isn't the first time there was a major data breach at an entertainment company. The infamous Sony leak of 2014 comes to mind. If you don't remember, in November of that year, a cyber attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment compromised sensitive data including employee information, unreleased films, and corporate strategies. The perpetrators, identifying themselves as the Guardians of Peace, also deployed destructive malware crippling Sony's computer systems. The hackers demanded the withdrawal of the film The Interview, a comedy depicting the assassination of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Following threats of terrorist attacks on cinemas, major theater chains canceled screenings, and Sony ultimately opted for a limited digital and theatrical release. While the US intelligence linked the attack to North Korea, other cybersecurity experts questioned this attribution. So for now, it doesn't look like Deadpool 3 will be held for ransom. But this is a very interesting situation. From the outside, the Disney data breach seems more like a Robin Hood-like attack instead of a government mandate. Disney should be paying their artists. Disney should stop being so greedy, but their profits keep going up outside of 2020. If this is all true, this leak could be incredibly damaging for Disney, and fans will be waiting with bated breath to see what comes next. So folks, tell me down in the comments below what you think about this situation. Personally, I want to know what movies are being made, I want to see images of unreleased films, and I want to know how they talk about these sensitive projects. I'd love to see the internal dialogue around these Marvel shows underperforming. I'd love to see the internal dialogue around the Star Wars property and how they interact with the fan base. If this is true, this is going to be huge, because all the PR, all the rumors, all of this other stuff, that's just that. It's rumors and other stuff. But this would be the direct word of the mouse, and that would be the most damaging because they think they're in private, and well, when you think you're in private, you're going to say some really nefarious things. Now, of course, this is a major company. They're not going to be talking about terrible, illegal things, but you might hear them talk about these stupid Star Wars fans or these damn right-wing people or blah, blah, blah. You know how the people in Hollywood talk about the consumers. Well, this is going to be the internal look at that, and it could be very damaging. But again, all of these terrible things that happen to Disney, their profits still keep creeping upward because they own so damn much. It's kind of disappointing the company that Disney's become. They were once the happiest place on earth for a lot of people. I've been, and it seems pretty miserable, but if you're a part of that cult, more power to you. So folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back next time with more. Before you go, folks, go over to Kickstarter and get a copy of Wokebusters. We're under 2 weeks left, and well, we need your help to cross that goal. If any internal data leaked from WCBS, you'd see how much we appreciate you here and how grateful we are for all that you do for us. So folks, thank you for watching. We'll be back next time with more, but in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.